The keys hit the marble table, and everyone froze. My brother laughed, my mother clapped, and the BMW's headlights flashed through the living room window like a spotlight. Then my mom turned to me and slid a thin envelope across the table. "Don't open it too fast," she said, smiling. Inside was a $10 gift card. The room smelled like champagne and leather seats. My brother was already outside, revving the engine, my mother filming on her phone. I felt something quiet snap in my chest, not loudly, not dramatically, just enough to change everything.
Hi.
My name is Claire Whitman. I'm the older daughter, the reliable one, the one who paid off Mom's credit cards after Dad died, the one who never asked for anything because I was told love wasn't measured that way. I smiled. That's what shocked her most. "Thank you," I said, holding up the card so the light caught it. "This is thoughtful." My brother smirked. "Don't spend it all in one place." Mom laughed like it was a joke we were all in on. "You know how he needs a reliable car. You're doing fine, Claire." "Doing fine." I nodded, folded the card, and slipped it into my purse. I didn't argue. I didn't cry. I didn't remind her who co-signed her last loan or who wired money when the bank sent warning letters. That night, while my brother slept easy in his new BMW, my phone buzzed with a voicemail from Mom.
Her voice was softer now.
"Nervous, sweetheart. I might need a little help next week." The mortgage company called. I stared at the $10 card in my hand and smiled again. Growing up, I learned early where I stood. My brother, Ethan, was the miracle child, the boy who just needed support, the one whose mistakes were always framed as potential. I was the backup plan, the quiet achiever. Straight A's, scholarships, no trouble. When Dad died, Mom leaned on me without asking. I paid bills. I handled paperwork. I stayed. Ethan moved back in and out like a guest. New ideas, failed startups, expensive tastes. Mom always said the same thing. He'll figure it out. And somehow, she always found money for him. The BMW wasn't sudden. It was the final receipt. That week, Mom called 3 times. Then 5. Her tone shifted from gentle to pressured. "It's not much, Claire. Just until things settle." I checked my bank app out of habit. I could have covered the mortgage without blinking. Instead, I started listening more carefully to what she said and what she didn't. On Friday, I drove past her house. The BMW was gone.
So was Ethan. The porch light was on.
And for the first time, I didn't feel guilty for not going inside. Mom showed up at my apartment unannounced the next morning. She didn't bring the urgency with her. She brought entitlement. Sat on my couch like it still belonged to her. Looked around, impressed, then immediately disappointed, as if my life was something she had loaned me. "You could have called me back," she said. "I was busy," I replied.
She sighed.
Ethan's insurance payment bounced. And the mortgage, well, they're not patient people. There it was. Not "can you help?" Just the assumption that I would. I asked carefully, "Where's Ethan?" Her eyes flicked away. "He needed space."
Space.
In a BMW. She leaned forward. "You know, families don't keep score." I almost laughed. Almost. Instead, I reached into my purse and placed the folded $10 gift card on the coffee table between us. She stared at it confused. "What's this?" she asked. I met her eyes, calm and steady, just trying to be thoughtful. Her face tightened, not anger yet, but recognition. Like she'd stepped on something sharp and didn't want to look down. "You're being dramatic," she said. "This isn't the same." I smiled.
"No.
It's exactly the same." Her phone buzzed. A voicemail notification. From the bank. She didn't listen to it. She stood up instead, offended now, wounded pride first, fear second. As she walked toward the door, she said, "I didn't raise you to be petty." I watched her leave and whispered to myself, "You didn't raise me at all." And that's when I decided I wouldn't just say no. I'd make sure she finally understood why. The humiliation came faster than I expected. 3 days later, Mom called a family meeting. Sunday afternoon. Same house. Same table where the BMW keys had landed like a crown. I went because I needed witnesses. Ethan showed up late, sunglasses on, acting inconvenienced. Mom looked thinner, tighter. The bank letters were stacked neatly beside her like props. She cleared her throat. I just wanted us all together. Claire's been distant. I stayed quiet. She turned to me, voice sharpening. I don't understand why you're punishing us over a gift. There it was. Punishing us. Ethan scoffed. You're really holding a grudge over $10? I reached into my purse slowly, pulled out the gift card, placed it on the table, right on top of the mortgage notice. This, I said evenly, is the value you put on me. The room went silent. Mom's face flushed. That's not fair. I finally looked at her. Neither was buying him a BMW while asking me to save your house. Ethan stood up, angry now. So, what, you're cutting us off? I met his glare.
No.
I'm letting the math speak. That's when Mom started to cry, loud, performative. And I realized something important. This wasn't a family meeting. It was a trial, and they had no defense. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was angry, but because I was calm in a way that felt unfamiliar. Pain had already done its worst. Now came clarity. I pulled every document I'd ever touched for my mother. Bank transfers, loan guarantees, emails where she thanked me, promised repayment, promised fairness someday. I laid them out on my dining table like pieces of a puzzle that finally made sense. This wasn't revenge fueled by rage. This was correction. By morning, I had a plan, quiet, legal, irreversible. First, I called the bank. Asked questions I'd never asked before. Then I called a lawyer. Not to threaten. To confirm. By afternoon, I knew exactly how exposed she was and how protected I was. Mom texted, "We need to talk." Ethan texted nothing. I didn't respond. Instead, I drove to the grocery store, bought a plain envelope, and slid the $10 gift card inside with a printed note. Not yet.
Soon.
For the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to fix anything. I was letting the truth arrive on schedule. The bank meeting was scheduled for Tuesday morning. I didn't attend, but I made sure my absence was felt. At exactly 9:03 a.m., Mom received an email from her lender. Attached were documents she'd never read closely before. The ones where my name appeared. Not as a helper. As the guarantor, with conditions. By 9:11, my phone rang. I let it ring. At 9:18, Ethan called. Then again. Then Mom's number lit up. Frantic now. I finally answered on the fourth call. "Claire," Mom said, breathless. "They said you withdrew something. There's been a mistake." "No," I replied calmly. "I corrected one." She started crying. Real crying this time. "You can't do this to us." I pictured the BMW keys. The laughter. The gift card. "I didn't," I said. "You did." There was shouting in the background. Ethan panicked. The sound of consequences arriving. Before hanging up, I added softly, "Check your mailbox." That afternoon, the envelope arrived. Inside, the $10 gift card. And a note that read, "Don't spend it all in one place." They showed up at my door that evening. Mom looked smaller than I remembered. No makeup. No rehearsed strength. Ethan stood behind her, jaw tight, the BMW conspicuously absent. "You blindsided us." Ethan snapped the moment I opened the door. I didn't step aside. "You never asked where the money came from." Mom reached for my arm. I gently pulled away. "I raised you better than this," she said, voice shaking. I met her eyes. "You raised me to be useful, not valued." That landed. Ethan scoffed. "So what now? You just watch us lose the house." I paused. Let the silence stretch. "No," I said. "I watch you make adult choices." Mom's knees buckled slightly. She caught herself on the wall. "You could still help," she whispered. "You always do." I shook my head. Not like that. There was nothing left to say. I closed the door, not angrily, not dramatically, just firmly. Through the wood, I heard Mom sob. I heard Ethan swear. And for the first time, I didn't feel responsible for either of them.
But I knew this wasn't the end.
They still believed they were entitled to forgiveness. They were wrong. A week later, the house went on the market. I saw it online by accident. Charming family home, motivated seller. Mom didn't call to tell me. Pride was the last thing she had left. Ethan sold the BMW 2 days after that. Not for what it was worth. For what he could get quickly. The final message came on a quiet Sunday morning. I'm sorry if we ever made you feel less than. Not we were wrong. Not we hurt you. Just enough apology to ease her conscience. I didn't reply. Instead, I drove to a small cafe across town, ordered coffee, and took the $10 gift card out of my wallet. The cashier scanned it. Balance, she asked. $10, I said. I paid, tipped well, and left the card on the counter for the next person. Some lessons cost more than money. As for me, I learned mine at a New Year's table, under bright lights, watching my worth be measured out loud. They never asked me for help again. And I never offered. For the first time in my life, the math finally made sense.